very easy to explain what Buddhism is when you study how the Buddha has introduced. That is why I told you it is very simple, very easy to understand. He said like this, his own wording. Sabba papassa akaranam kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodapanam. Try to train and purify your own mind. Etang buddhana sasanam. This is the message of every Buddha, not only one particular Buddha. Because different Buddhas have no different religious philosophy or teaching. Every Buddha who appeared in this world preached the same dharma, no differences. See, what is the difficulty to understand? If anybody asks what Buddhism is, this is the answer. We try to follow the advice given by the Buddha by keeping away from all the bad deeds. We try to practice good qualities, virtues, observe principles and morals. We try to maintain healthy mind, pure mind, try to train our mind. That is what we are doing as practicing Buddhism. Can you remember this? Otherwise you can say we worship and pray to Buddha and we offer flowers and joysticks and all sort of things. We recite sutras and mantras. That is Buddhism. So is there anybody in this world who can say something is wrong here? When you say Buddhism is like this, any human being or follower of any religion in this world can say something is wrong there. We try not to do bad thing. We try to do good. We try to maintain our mind, healthy mind, pure mind. That is the teachings of the Buddha. 45 years teaching, when we categorize, we can make into these three: morals, ethics, precept, principles, duties, qualities, responsibilities, first line. Then kindness, compassion, sympathy, unity, honesty, harmony, patience, tolerance, all those good qualities into another group. Then in our mind we have a lot of evil thoughts. All of us have. But they submerge. But occasions, circumstances arouse. Then suddenly anger or jealousy or grudge or enmity and selfishness or what you call various other weaknesses flare up. No one is free from all these things. Therefore we try first to control, then to train, to tame our mind. After that, eradicate, uproot. After that, salvation. Salvation means nirvana. When the mind is completely purified, we experience nibbanic bliss. We will be in nirvana. Nirvana is not a place to go, like heaven or paradise introduced by other religions. We never go to nirvana, but we bring nirvana into our mind. When our mind is free from all the evil things, we experience the bliss, the peace, calmness, happiness in our life. That is nirvana. It is not a place for us to go and settle down there. So the teachings of the Buddha is called dharma. But do you know the reason why the teachings of the Buddha is called dharma? Dhamma or dharma, Pali and Sanskrit. Why the teachings of the Buddha is called dharma? You might have heard, but cannot remember. Now today you must try to keep this also in your mind. I conduct this like a class, not a giving talk, public talk. Why the teachings of the Buddha is called dharma? The Buddha did not introduce a religion. The religion is praying and worshipping to God, binding to God. That is the meaning of religion. It is a Latin word, religio. In English, they say religion. Later they introduced original meaning of religio means binding. No religious value. Later when they converted this word into religion, they say binding to God. That is religion. If religion is binding to God, Buddhism is not a religion at all. Why? The Buddha, gaining enlightenment, he said like this: Muttohang sabba pasehi ye dibba ye cha manusa. Tumhehi mutta pasehi ye dibba ye cha manusa. Now I am completely free from human and divine bondages. Then he addressed the disciples, Arahantas, you are also free from human and divine bondages, fetters. So if the religion means binding to God, so Buddhism is not a religion at all. If we can give another wider meaning to this word religion, then we can say like this: religion is a noble way of life for people to find out their salvation. Then we can accommodate Buddhism also into religion. So the Buddha did not introduce a religion, but he introduced the dharma. He said, this dharma that I am going to teach you existed long ago. This is not a new dharma or new doctrine or new religion. But people have completely forgotten, misinterpreted, maintain wrong concept. It is happening even today. 2,500 years ago, the dharma taught by the Buddha, how people interpret today when they are divided into different schools in Buddhism. They give entirely different meaning. Not the same doctrine, same teaching, same dharma that the Buddha introduced. Country to country, from time to time, they are going on changing, giving new interpretation. Every religion is facing this problem. So, dharma exists forever, whether the Buddhas appear or not. The Buddha mentioned this in Anguttara Nikaya Sutra Pitaka. Dharma exists whether the Buddhas appear or not. why the Buddhas will appear from time to time to reveal this Dharma, existing Dharma. We can introduce as a universal law, not created by God or Buddha or anybody. It is existing universal law, natural occurrences. We create our own imagination. We say God created or devil created just because we cannot understand. Lucky scientists have discovered many things in this world. After that, people have given up that idea of God created or devil created. They knew many things. So in the same manner, the Buddha wanted to tell us what this Dharma is, how to understand this, how to make use of this Dharma. He says you never gain, you never understand simply by worshipping, praying, offering, reciting, performing rite and rituals and ceremonies and processions. You never learn the Dharma. All these things introduced by us to do something in the name of religion. The Buddha never introduced anything, any of those activities. He introduced only these three things. Keep away from bad things, try to do good things, try to maintain healthy, pure mind. He taught only this much. But we don't want to do that. We organize so many other external activities. To practice the teachings of the Buddha, we are willing to spend even millions of dollars. But so lazy to practice even one word uttered by the Buddha for us to do. That means still our minds are deluded, clouded, misled, so we cannot see the light. We cannot create that understanding. Sila, Samadhi, Panya, three pillars belong to those three words that I mentioned earlier. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Can you tell me the meaning of this word? What is Sila? What is the meaning of Sila? That is one word only. Morals, ethics, principles, virtues. Under this word, precept. Not only morals. Because under morals, we can find man-made morals. They are not belong to this. Natural, that is called moral shame, moral fear. Before religions come into existence, humanity was governed by these two. Moral shame, moral fear. No religion. What is moral shame? As human being, it is shameful, disgraceful to do such thing. That is called moral shame. Moral fear. As cultured human being, it is very wicked, it is very cruel, it is very harmful to do such wicked thing. That is called moral fear. These two principles govern the whole humanity. Religions come later. Who created religion? People say God has given religion. But God has no religion. Only human beings have religion. Among the 31 groups of living beings in this universe, including God and human, only human beings have religion. Others do not know what is religion. Then how did they discover this religion? As humans, we have sense of reasoning. Others have no sense of reasoning. Our experience, maturity, education, experience, slowly cultivated, develop our understanding. It has taken millions of years for us to develop all these qualities, then introduce this religion. At the beginning there was no God in the religion. When we developed this humanism, that means humane qualities, human values, human dignity, human intelligence, diverted into a religion. After that, what they have done, invited God into religion. That is why they say God has given the religion. A well-known American professor, Professor Whitehead, I mentioned this one of my publications also. He said, first man create God. Later, God create man. 100% correct. Man create the God. That means the concept of God, first time created in the man's mind. When they develop this concept, later personified or transformed into a figure, into a person, then given the name as God. When this belief in God develop, they say God created man. That is why Pope had to say recently, human beings are not created by the gods. They come into existence due to evolution. But Charles Darwin, theory of evolution or anthropology, explain only evolutions of elements. Elemental evolution. He had no idea about mental evolution. So we can bring Buddhism into this. Evolutions of mental energy, evolutions of element, both goes together. That is how evolution takes place. That is how we are standing as human beings today. Evolutions of mental energy, evolutions of element. That is how animals can come back to human life. When we disgrace our human life, we mold animal figure, animal life in our mind. Then it is very difficult for us to born as human being. Remember this. If we abuse our human life, it is very difficult for us to become humans again. So, please remember, if we abuse our human life by neglecting our human values, human intelligence, humane qualities, it is very difficult for us to become humans again. Whatever religions we have. Now the answer to that question is still you could not give. Why the teachings of the Buddha is called Dharma? Very meaningful. You always attend to religious talk here, isn't it? Every week, how many talks you organize here? What do they preach? Dharma. is the root of the word, dhar. Dharma, the method introduced by this word, dharma. Another example. This earth is called dharani. Pali, Sanskrit and so many other languages. Dharani. Dhar, the root. Dhar means hold. The earth can hold everything. Therefore it is called dharani. Ma means the method. The method that which hold us without allowing us to get into the unfortunate state of suffering. Please remember, hell, animal, a spirit, ghost, devils, unfortunate living being. One who follows this dharma never get into this unfortunate state because the dharma hold us, support us, uphold. So you have never heard this meaning of this word dharma? If anybody follow this dharma, live in accordance with the dharma, never get into that unfortunate state. Hell, animal, a spirit, ghost or devil or unfortunate. Now when you see human beings, how many millions are blind, dumb, crippled, mad, or stupid? They are unfortunate human beings. One who follows this dharma never get into such unfortunate state. That is the meaning of dharma. Can you remember this? Dhar means whole. Dharma means the method taught by the Buddha to hold us, uphold and support, without allowing us to get into such unfortunate states. Another saying, Dhammo have rakkati dhammachari. Those who live in accordance with the dharma. That means by following the dharma. That dharma protects us. This is the answer to those who come and say, oh, God will protect you if you follow the God, if you believe in God. Here the Buddhism says, if you follow the dharma, dharma is the universal law. This universal law protects you. Only difference is two words, God and dharma. We can give an example. I extend my kindness, compassion, sympathy toward you. That is dharma. I practice dharma. Then all of you who came to know that I am very kind and what they call very honest, very sincere, harmless, that is dharma. Then all of you support me, protect me. How dharma protects us? Because you return dharma into me. When I practice dharma, in return, the same dharma protects us. On the other hand, I scold you by using dirty, vulgar, wicked words and make you very angry. I violated the dharma. Then you also don't keep quiet. You also do what you can, take revenge. That is also dharma, negative side. Negative, positive. That is why here, dharmo have rakkati dhammachari. Those who live in accordance with the dharma, that dharma universal law protects. So now you can understand why the teachings of the Buddha is called Dharma. Furthermore, Chatusu apayesu cha vatha dukkesu cha apatamane kattva dhareti iti dhammo. Not only a stop suffering in hell or animals or ghosts or devil, without allowing for us to suffer within this repeated birth and death and birth and death and birth and death, also stop this. Because within one lifetime, enormous suffering, physically and mentally, we had to experience. One scholar has written, within one lifetime, one human being experienced 84,000 problems. If we count and record, he says 84,000. But how many kinds of happiness that we gain? Another scholar says, if this earth is flat, without hills and rocks, if all the trees on this earth converted into pen, all the waters in the river and lakes and ponds convert into ink, still not enough to write all our human problems. Can you imagine? Within one day, within 1 hour, how many times we get angry, we get jealousy, we create enmity, very unhappy news and irritable feeling, disturbances, suspicion, fear, worries, within 1 hour. How many times? That is what we are doing as living. So the Dharma means, without allowing us to suffer life after life like this, pave the way for us to stop our physical and mental suffering. Dharma, the two meaning here. One method is to stop, get into unfortunate state of existence. Second meaning is stop repeated birth and death without allowing us to suffer. That method is called Dharma. Can you get this meaning from religion, the word religion? Dharma is more advanced than the word religion. Some people come and say, oh, Buddhism is not a religion, why do you want to follow? In fact, we condemn Buddhism if we say it is a religion, the way how they introduce the word religion. But Dharma, in every existing religions in India, even today, not only at that time, used this word Dharma. Brahmanism, Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Dharma, same meaning. Dharma, another meaning is truth, justice. So now, how many things you have learned? First, you learn what is Buddhism, how to answer. If anybody asks, what is Buddhism? Then I told you 3 things. Then I explain why the Buddha's teaching is called Dharma. Then I explain. Dharma support us without allowing us to get into the unfortunate state. Dharma support us to get rid of this physical and mental worldly suffering. Remember. Then this Dharma based on 3 pillars. Connected to those 3 items I explained at the beginning. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. So the first one is Sila. What is Sila? Just now I explained. What is sila? In simple language, we can say discipline. Moral discipline. Then it is very meaningful. Moral discipline. When you observe precept, just now you recited 5 precepts. Why they are called precept? Sila. We try to discipline by keeping away from those 5 bad things. It is discipline. We try not to kill, not to steal, not to have sexual misconduct, not to tell lies, not to take drinks and drugs. We try to keep away from these 5 things. That is discipline. Sila. There are so many other words, morals and ethics and virtues. That is one of the pillars of the Buddha's teaching. Then the second one is samadhi. What is the meaning of samadhi? Samadhi. These are the words that we have learned from the book. What is the real meaning of this word samadhi? Pardon? Calmness of the mind. Then anyone can understand. Because there is no calmness in our mind. Always mind is shivering, disturbing. To develop our mind up to that extent is not so easy. To calm the mind. Because 5 senses always bring external object into the mind, then disturb. The vision, the sound, the smell, taste, feeling, if not imagination. 6. These 6 channels bring object into the mind and disturb. And the mind had to struggle, either to accept or to reject. Then those things create fear in our mind. Fear, suspicion, insecurity, anger, jealousy, and pressure, temptation. All these things disturb the mind. Then where is calmness in the mind? Not at all. To calm the mind, we can study everything that which exists under the sun and the moon. You create more confusion in the mind. You can study science and what they call technology, all modern discoveries. They develop their cunningness, selfishness through this scientific knowledge. There is no calmness. The method introduced by the Buddha is to calm the mind. What is that? What is the method? Pardon? Yeah, these words, although we use, it does not give real meaning of the word used by the Buddha. The Buddha used the word bhavana. Bhavana means a development. Development of the mind. The method we adapt to develop the mind. That is called bhavana and meditation. Then how to do that? First, we had to stop bringing external object into the mind. Then imagination. Stop creating imagination. Now the mind is alone. No external object to disturb the mind. Then the mind gets the chance to relax. and relax and relax and relax. When the mind does not take an object into the mind, at that stage we use the word bhavanga. The Buddha used this word, bhavanga stage, passive. Mind is in passive stage, bhavanga stage. That means mind is not functioning with any external object. Then calmness. When the mind gets the chance to relax, you can understand all our organs in our body, start from brain cells or neurons, glands, hormone, nervous system, blood circulation, heartbeat and stomach, all these organs get the chance to function in normal way. When the mind is upset, what you call excitement or fear or tension, all the organs also go haywire. Immediately we can see the result. How changes take place in our body. 2 weeks ago, I went to see the doctor. He took my blood pressure, very normal, 130 upon 60, very normal. Then he asked one question, very exciting. I had to raise the voice to answer that question. The Subang Medical Center, Dr. Kanan. Then he wanted to test my blood pressure again. Within 2 minutes, blood pressure has gone 180 and 90. Can you imagine? How the mind upset our body. And the hormones and glands. Many people get fear, immediately get rashes, hormone, mix up with poisonous gas. Then heartbeat, blood pressure increase. Many people, when they get a shock or get terrible fear, immediately they want to go to toilet. How the mind creates all these things. So in the West, not as a religious subject, those who suffer from high blood pressure, they practice this meditation to calm the mind. So, samadhi means that calmness of the mind with understanding. Then the development takes place in the mind. When the development takes place, then the mind becomes very energetic, get more courage, more understanding, become more tolerance, change the mental attitude. That is called development. This is the way how to practice Buddhism, but we are doing something else. The Buddha taught us to do only these things. What we need, even big processions and celebrations and so many things. But no religious feeling in our mind, competition. And life becomes very meaningful, not wasting. Another reason why our mind is very weak. I have told you, I think, in one of my talks, why our mind is very weak. Can you remember? Cannot. It is also a very important thing to learn. Every second we use mental energy through our five senses. Understand? To see things, eyes cannot do anything without using mental energy. To hear something, ear cannot do anything without using current, mental energy. All the five senses. Then mental image, imagination, mental current. So every minute we are going, spending mental energy. Mind become very weak because no energy. That is why always we have fear, suspicion. The small children, they have that, scared of so many things because their minds are very weak. We are also facing the same problem because our minds are weak. You know, there are some people, great philosophers, psychologists, scientists, great thinkers in this world. They have a very strong mind. They are not scared of so many things. When we develop our mind, we forget this fear. Medical students who study in anatomy, human skeleton they bring into their room and study at night. In our case, when we see human skeleton, we run away because they have no fear in their mind to bring human skeleton to keep in this room and sleep in the same room and study. That is why the Buddha prescribed or introduced to go to cemetery, to develop this meditation, to get rid of that fear. Otherwise, mind is very weak. To strengthen the mind, we had to develop it. By learning, we cannot strengthen the mind. So he introduced this four methods in Satipatthana Sutra, the way of mindfulness. Kāye kāyānupassī, vedanasu vedananupassī, citte cittanupassī, dhammesu dhammanupassī. Four methods for us to concentrate. Now then, realizations, understanding appear in the mind. Then the fear, anger, jealousy, selfishness, all the evil forces disappear from the mind. That through that understanding. Knowledge and understanding, these are two things. Knowledge can create more disturbances in the mind. Understanding is something else. Wisdom comes later. There are three items here. Knowledge, then understanding. After that we gain wisdom. Although we have learned everything in this world, there is no wisdom in our mind. So first we started with sila, discipline, behavior. If there is no such behavior, discipline, we cannot get into the second stage. Remember that. If we do not observe some principles, whatever meditation we practice, no effect at all, wasting time. Start from the beginning. Then mind is ready now. Very tame, very calm, and development take place. Understanding appears in the mind. Later, we use the word concentration. We started with mindfulness to tame the mind. Then concentration to analyze, to understand things properly. We do not know how to analyze the object, only superficial value, outlook. Albert Einstein analyze the whole world. He says, in the end, there is no world. That is what the Buddha said. When you analyze this body, there is no I, there is nothing to say mind, there is no body, physical body. When we analyze, our concept create all these things. So science say, when we separate elements in this world, in this universe, including suns and the moons and galaxies and earth, everything, nothing but elements and energies. Combinations of elements and energies. They remain for a certain period and again decay and decay and decay and decay, dissolve. If we do this earlier to see what it is, by analyzing, there is nothing. That's what in Mahayana Buddhism they highlighted it, voidness. Not necessary to go to Mahayana Buddhism. The Buddha has said earlier, anatta, there is nothing to take as permanent entity. Same thing they enlarge and explain as voidness or sunyata. So now mind is ready. Very obedient, very calm, very peaceful and developing. Then come to the third stage. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Panya means prajna. Extraordinary realization. Not ordinary understanding. This extraordinary understanding never appeared in our mind unless and until we develop the mind. Now that Samadhi stage, we develop the mind. And now very easily we can focus that mind to understand everything very clearly. That is called Panya, wisdom. Completed our journey. First started with Sila, then developed our mind, developing calmness. Then by focusing that mind, we understood everything that which exists. Enlightenment. Salvation. You did not spend even $1. Such a long journey. You have reached the final goal. Did not spend even $1. That is Buddhism, my dear friends. We have taken the husk as Buddhism without taking the greens. Images, temples, pagodas, we take as holy, sacred places. Sacredness is not in the image. Sacredness is not in the pagoda or in the building. Sacredness is not in the place of worship, church or mosque or temple. Sacredness is in the mind. The purity of our mind convert that place as a sacred place. Now this place has become a sacred place, just not because this place is sacred, but people come here and try to practice meditation and observe precept and purify their mind, then reconvert this into a sacred place. So, religion is not in the building. Religion is not in the Buddha image. Religion is not in the pagoda. People go, say, to worship certain places, say sacred places, we get more merit when you go and worship. But they cannot understand, we create this sacredness in our mind. We cannot get this sacredness from the place, from the building, from the pagoda. Of course, the Buddha has said, before his passing away, he said, after my death, cremate or burns my body, collect the ashes and enshrine and put up pagodas for people to gain confidence, to understand definitely there was a person called the Buddha. If there is no such thing, people cannot develop that confidence. Otherwise, it is not, that place is not sacred. But we make it a sacred place. You go and worship and do some offering, knowing this is the place where the Buddha was born, where he was passed away, where his ashes were buried. Mind creates sacred. Now in Mahayana Buddhism talk about Sukhavati, pure land. There is no such place as pure land. Land cannot become pure. When the mind is pure, any land can convert into pure land. Without purity in the mind, we cannot create any pure land in this world. That is the Buddha's attitude. So, now you can understand the reality, the real meaning, attitude of the Dharma taught by the Buddha for us to gain happiness, satisfaction, to forget our worries and fear and disturbances, to lead a peaceful life with hopes and confidence. Now we have no hope, no confidence, always in fear and worry, create imagination. But if you follow this method taught by the Buddha, one day we can depart from this world, say goodbye to this world with hopes and confidence. Otherwise, you know what will happen. Some people cry, some people worry, some have fear when they are going to die, because they do not know how to develop these hopes and confidence in their future, their destiny, their faith. So if we follow the Dharma, we can gain that confidence. Now we can understand what is Dharma, why do we practice Dharma, how to practice this Dharma, what are the things that we have to do without even spending single cent. What is the time now? I am sorry, just now I made a mistake. I pushed away this mic because 2 weeks I noticed this mic did not work properly. It is the duty of the authorities to prepare this mic. That is the punishment for them. So, any question? I can spend few minutes for questions. Never mind. Do you know this answer was given by Albert Einstein? Somebody asked, what is matter? Then he said, never mind. Then he asked, what is mind? No matter. It's a correct answer, because mind is not located in any particular area in our body. This is a very good question. We can talk at least for half an hour about this. Thousands of years, people had believed the mind is located in our heart. That is why we created some word, kind-hearted, cruel-hearted, thinking the mind is in the heart. This very clearly proven by the surgeons, by transplantation, heart transplantation. When I was in the hospital in Australia for my operation, I met a lady in the hospital who had heart transplantation. She got a heart of a 35 years old young man, this lady. Then I asked, formerly you had a woman's heart. Now you are having a man's heart. Any difference in you? Is it no difference? This clearly shows the mind is not in our heart, not located. Then the medical science. There are observations, study, investigation indicated the mind is in our brain. This belief also rejected by psychologists. Those who study the mind. They say, mind is not located in our brain. Then where is the mind? That is why I told you, never mind. You cannot find the mind. Mind is an energy, spread all over the body. But heart and the brain, just like dynamo and engine, must have friction to create energy. Electricity comes to the friction of dynamo and engine, then electricity. Heart and brain, when work together, the mental energy come out, spread all over the body, not in one particular place. Then let us refer to the Buddha, what he has mentioned about the mind. In Dhammapada, he said, Durangamang ekacharan asarirang guhasayam. The nature of the mind. He says, Durangamang. The mind can run faster than any kind of energy in this world. Take for instance, lightning. We have no time to see also, just appear and disappear, lightning. But the mental energy can run 1,000 times faster than lightning. Now that is the nature of the mind. Durangama. Ekachana. Mind exists alone. Two minds cannot exist together. Impossible. Each and every person has his or her own mind, exists alone. Different attitudes. That is why it is difficult to live together, work together. Friction, different mentality. Asarira. No body. Body means formation. Just like soul. All the other religions talk about soul. There is no formation of soul. Instead of soul here, use the word this. No formation. Invisible. Mind is invisible. Life is invisible. Both are invisible. There is nobody in this world who has seen a life. Can see the body only. And no one can see the mind. Scientists who have discovered atom also never seen atom. No one can see atom. But there are so many other electron, neutron, protons, all those things. Then the atomic energy starts to function. So in the same manner, our mind, heart and brain conditioned to the friction, but never located in any area in our body. It is whenever there is, supposing there is a pain here. This pain, body cannot experience. The mind experiences the pain. If there is no mind, no pain, nobody to experience the pain. So, ye cittang samyamissanti mokkhanti marabandhana. Here in the same, Buddha say, if anyone can train and tame and develop this mind, marabandhana mokkhanti, will be free from death. Otherwise, forever we had to face birth and death and birth and death. This is the nature of the mind. One more? Only one. Yes. When you please come, go to very far. Oh, that is also a very big question. I have to talk. This English word cannot give the real meaning of the word used by the Buddha. We have 4 mental faculties. Mind divided into 4 faculties. Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Vedana, feeling, pleasant, unpleasant feeling. One mental faculty. Sanya, perception or recognition, identification. Another mental faculty. Third one is Sankhara. It's a very big word. All our mental habit and nature, character, behavior, attitude, good karma, bad karma, all are there. It is a storehouse of all our good and bad activities. We carry this life after life. We never drop all these things here. Spending, accumulating. So, then the 4th one, Vijnana. For that, we use the word consciousness. English language, conscious, subconscious, semi-conscious. That's all. But here the consciousness means, my dear friend, these 3 mental faculty also contribute toward consciousness. Feeling, perception and mental habit. 5 senses bring object from outside. These 5 senses also contribute to our consciousness. Inside our consciousness, there are 5 energies, ingredients. Avidya, Trishna, Karma, Upadana, Bhava. These 5 ingredients always remains in our consciousness. What are they? Our ignorance. All of us are ignorant. No one can say, oh, I am not ignorant. Because we know only little bit. We are in the dark. Our understanding is very poor. We don't know why we are here. We do not know why we cannot satisfy although we have everything. We do not know what will happen to us after our death. That is ignorance. No one is free from this. Avidya, Trishna, craving. 3 kinds of craving in that consciousness. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Craving for pleasure. That craving is so strong, can kill, destroy others to gain something, pleasure. See what happened a few days ago? A schoolgirl, little bit of pleasure, such cruel, wicked, inhuman. We can say inhuman, because animals never do this kind of thing. Never. Only human beings. Can you imagine? How can you say we are more advanced? The Buddha says in another discourse, Dog is better than some of those human beings. The name of that sutra called Brahmana Dhammika Sutra. Dog is better than many of those human beings. He has given different points. First point, a dog never disturbs a small female puppy. Dog never disturbs. But human beings, 2-3 months old baby or so, their own father. Can you imagine? Then who are more advanced? That dog or this man? That's why Buddha says, our mind is very, very wicked and cruel. That is why we have to train. Religion is the only method. There is punishment also cannot. There is a punishment all over the world for this kind of thing. But people never give up. So, craving for pleasure, craving for survival, living. We can destroy thousands of others for us to live. Worldly life is such. It is very uncertain. That is why Buddha did not encourage people to stay longer. Let us take those pigs. Nearly 100,000, I think, they have shot, destroyed. Do you think those who kill those pigs do not create bad karma? No, they are not exempted. They also create bad karma by killing. But the purpose is different. To protect others' life. For our survival. For our survival, we have to kill and destroy others. That is the danger of existence. Without doing that, we cannot survive. We have such grave craving in our mind for living. Or rebirth. Crave for rebirth. It is also craving. Crave to go to heaven and enjoy life, play mahjong. Is it not craving? It is craving. Then, vibhavatanna, craving not to exist. Those who commit suicide, it is craving. They could not gain what they wanted, or they could not tolerate. Craving is behind. Destroy their own life. If not, you have valuable things. Without allowing others to use them, you are willing to burn and destroy. See the nature of human mind. Jealousy and craving work together. You cannot tolerate when others use your property, but you are willing to destroy or burn them. Then, trishna, kamatanna, bhavatanna, karma. No one can live without creating good karma or bad karma. Most wicked, cruel person also creates some good karma also. Very religious-minded, very learned people also create some bad karma. This is the nature of our worldly human life. Every time when we develop hatred, anger, ill will, enmity, we create bad karma. At the same time, we develop kindness and sympathy and honesty and good qualities, we create good karma. By talking, we use vulgar, wicked, dangerous very word to hurt others' feelings, insult others. We create bad karma. Talking. Again we go and console others to release their fear and worry and suffering. With kindness, we create good karma by talking. For our living and for our pleasure, we do so many things. Some are good, some are bad. Some are moral, some are immoral. Therefore, every body create good karma or bad karma. Only Arahantas and Buddhas are free. Below that level, all the others create. That is in that consciousness. Upadana, attachment. All of us have some sort of attachment towards something, either person or something, like glue, that attachment. Very hard to separate. Then karma formation. Karma formation means karma that we have accumulated during our lifetime become very active in our consciousness when we are going to die. Karma appear, disappear, appear, disappear. According to the karma, then indications appear, vision appear in our mind. Then gati. We know where we go before our death. The belief that people maintain after our death, we go and wait to have rebirth, that is wrong. That is not the Buddha's teaching. Before our death, we know where we go. Whether we become humans or animals or devas, before we depart from here. These 5 things also in the consciousness. That is the definitions given in Buddhism about the consciousness. By reading philosophy, psychology, can you get all this meaning? Here you can understand how advanced the teachings of the Buddha. Modern psychologists say, when you compare our psychological knowledge, which those who lived 2,500 years ago in India, we feel we are still in infancy stage. They know only this much about the mind. Now see the way how Buddha has analyzed the mind. I think enough today. And blessing. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te. Good health and peace of life to all of you.